Hey team, it's Jad and Locke here to give you the lowdown on a podcast you should add to your playlist.
Brooke Blurton and Maddie Mills host the First Things First podcast, and in it they share their personal yarns through a First Nations lens.
It's a raw, honest and unfiltered look into the lives of both Brooke and Maddie.
Search for First Things First wherever you get your podcasts.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Blair Athol or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
This podcast was recorded on the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation.
Guys, welcome back.
We're matching.
What do you mean?
Look at us both with our t-shirts and necklaces.
Oh, yours is white.
Welcome back
Mine's
to the
black.
pod, guys. Sorry about that.
Guys, welcome back wherever you are checking in. We appreciate it. Hope you're having a lovely week wherever you are in the world. And we have I'm not allowed to say a fun one for you today, but we have, I would say we're almost time traveling back for this episode.
Wow.
We're taking you back. We're taking you back to when you were all kids and we were kids, and our episode this week is lies that our parents told us as kids, which now looking back we know were lies. And then our Ask Mum and Dad for this week comes from a girl whose partner doesn't like her going out clubbing and is wanting some help with what to do there, which is it's a tricky one. But before we get stuck into today's, Sorry, guys. I'm not allowed to say get stuck in anymore because once I said tuck in and now it's like a trigger for everyone in the room to laugh.
Come on, honey. What are we stucking into?
Before we start getting into all your lies that your parents told you and all the trauma that it's caused you guys, Jad and I are we're gonna share a couple of our own because it's only fair.
Yeah. You want me to start? Guys,
you know you don't have to be here if you want. I could just do this.
My first lie that I was told is one that I know many of you were told the exact same thing, and that is that it is illegal to drive in the car with the light on in the back seat. What's that about?
I cannot tell you how many times I received that one.
Yeah.
It was so because I was like, yeah, I get that, but then knowing that every single person's parents told them that lie is just hilarious. It must have just been annoying.
Do you think that our parents actually thought it was illegal?
Definitely not.
Really?
Are you going to say that for every lie? You're going to go, do you think our parents actually thought this?
Well, no, because if there's this general consensus that everyone thinks it's illegal to turn the bloody light on, maybe they thought it was back then for some reason.
No.
No?
Definitely not.
And
No.
you know, if you think about it, why is there a light if you can't turn it on?
No, I think your parents are just saying that it's really frustrating when it's dark and it kind of
it's
inhibits their
distracting.
vision in the night. Because
It is.
it does make it harder to see out
Yeah.
of the car when it's on.
Well, at least they
And so
don't
to
have
get your-
kids making bloody TikTok videos, you know? That's what parents are dealing with now with the flash on at night time. The flash is shining around the back seat, you know. There's some songs on, some, you know, Tate McRae's singing and the flash is on, and that's what they're
Can
dealing with now.
parents, can parents say no?
I would
to
say
this?
that's illegal to my kid if they were doing that.
Exactly.
Say it's illegal to TikTok in the car.
I would just say it's illegal to use TikTok in general. Is that ban coming into play, by the way? Sorry, guys.
Are you serious? That
Yeah.
was like months ago.
No, but I'm saying, is it a thing?
No.
Oh.
It was banned for like 20 hours or something.
No, not TikTok in the States. I'm talking about in Australia. They made it illegal for kids under 16 to have social media.
Oh, yeah, they're doing that. That's the thing.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure. I hadn't heard much about it. It was a big uproar and then just
No,
silence.
They said, yeah, it's happening.
Yeah, I definitely
me on
think,
that,
guys,
actually.
that our parents know when they're telling a lie. I don't think they actually thought that the lie. But that one came in, I reckon, from about 30 different people
Yeah.
that said all sort of like different ones, like, you know, if they left it on, it was illegal,
I
or
was
if they
told the
left it
same
on,
thing.
they'd get arrested, or all these different things, which is, I don't know. I think that's like a harmless one, you know what I mean? It's not really one that's going to affect your kid long term and gets you out of the annoying situation.
What were you told?
I mean, I could only think of one from my mum, but I had one from my grandma that was like, my grandma is Polish. She left Poland to come here, so she still speaks Polish her whole life, goes to buy Polish food, everything. And being from Eastern Europe, she would say to us as kids when she looked after us, if it was winter, she would say that if you went outside and you didn't have a jumper on, you'd instantly catch a cold. Like you'd just get sick instantly.
Instant cold.
Yeah. And so back in the day when you're a kid, you're like, oh, I don't want that to happen. Like I want to be able to go outside and have fun and play. So you put the jumper on. And then when you get older, you realize that, you can't catch a cold from a temperature.
Well, I similarly was told that if I left the aircon on, I'd get sick overnight.
Yeah, but you told me that one at the beginning of our
because
relationship.
I thought it was real.
Yeah, we'd have aircon in like a hotel, and Jad would in the morning. I'd go, it's so hot, can we have aircon?
No,
and then she'd wake up in the morning, she'd go, I think I'm sick from the aircon. I go, it doesn't work like that. Unless the aircon's spitting out a virus, you're not going to get sick from it.
It could be. I honestly thought I was getting sick from air conditioner.
Yeah, I know. And you know how hard it is to tell you that you're wrong? Because you're like, no.
No, because I listened, because I went, you know what, actually that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and now we sleep with it most nights in summer and you wake up healthy.
So I was definitely told that. But my other one is kind of like a general blanket that my mum tells me that the Turks invented everything, basically, to the point where I think she tried to tell me once that they invented sushi.
Turkish people?
Yeah. Because, guys, bit of background. I'm Turkish. For those of you who don't know, both my parents are Turkish. So, yeah, my mum likes to say that everything at some point came from the Ottoman Empire, which was the Turks. So, apparently we invented pretty much everything. Anything you'll ever see. Wheels, a fridge. It was just Turks.
Yeah. I have heard a lot of that from your mum.
Exactly.
I think she's just Turk proud, which is nice. But
she is.
Yeah, to tell your kids that everything was made by the Turks is probably not the best thing to go by.
There were various occasions where I went to school and told people that the Turks did this and that when they absolutely did not.
Like the car, do you think your mum believed it or do you think she's lying?
I think a part of her wants to believe.
That's actually the one scenario where I actually do think she believes it.
Yeah, she wants to believe.
That is true. Handan, if you're listening, we love you. And I also believe that the Turks made everything. I remember one as well when I was a kid where my mum is amazing with kids. Like I'm one of 5 and, she was the perfect person to have 5 kids because she's so amazing with them. But she just had a way out of anything she didn't want us to do or get, she had like this nice way of getting us, getting around it. And I remember when we used to go to the shops, I used to go shopping with my mum quite a bit because I was second youngest. So the others were at school, I'd go to the shops with my mum. And if there was something I wanted, like a treat or a toy or something like that, she would never say like, no, you can't have it. Like, we're not getting that. She would always say like, oh, we can't get it now, but we can get it next time. So she would make me think that we're getting it next time. So as a kid, like you're leaving going like, yes, I'm going to get it next time. But then she knew that as soon as like the next day came around and you went to hang out with your friends or you're playing with your siblings, you'd forget all about it, you know? So it's like she would diffuse anything that you wanted to get. She'd go like, yeah, we can get it
cheeky
next time. Like we can't get it now, we're in a rush, we get it next time.
Yeah,
and I was like,
we
that's
might
really
need to
clever.
use that one.
Oh, I'll definitely be using that one.
Yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't have a super good memory though and go, all right, I'm ready to go back and get it.
Is this you saying that you had a shit memory? Because I'd like that on record.
I think I was just too excited by other things after the fact.
Stunning.
And once you get home and you have the 5 other toys that you can play with, you realise you don't really need the 6th one, do you?
So true.
I mean, you don't realise that, but go buy like 8 things every time you leave the house.
Let's check in.
You got no more? No more lies?
No.
All right.
My parents are pretty honest, I reckon.
Yeah, a bit too honest.
Yeah, a bit too honest.
Hey team, it's Jad and Lach here to give you the lowdown on a podcast you should add to your playlist.
Brooke Blurton and Maddie Mills host the First Things First podcast, and in it they share their personal yarns through a First Nations lens.
It's a raw, honest and unfiltered look into the lives of both Brooke and Maddie.
Search for First Things First wherever you get your podcasts.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Blair Athol or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
All right, guys, here are our listener stories. You guys came through with the goods here. Our first one says, when I was growing up, my parents always told me that they knew I was lying because I had a black line on my tongue. I now have 3 kids and tell them this. There's obviously not a black line, but if they don't poke their tongue out, I know who's been lying because they're scared a black line will be there.
That's bloody clever.
That's really clever. But I reckon I'd immediately go to the mirror and say, like, my hair's pink, and then stick my tongue out and go, it's not true.
Yeah, you'd outsmart them.
Yeah.
I don't think kids at like age 3
when you're
have
little,
that sort of critical
when you're
thinking.
little, you're not quite thinking like that, are you?
Yeah, maybe at 14 you'd do the
No,
pink
I
hair
reckon
thing.
like 5. Are you telling me your nephew wouldn't go look in the mirror?
He's probably like one of the cleverest kids I've ever met, so maybe him, but he's like Sheldon Cooper of kids.
He's very clever.
Yeah, but that's a smart one. I actually like that one because that's once again,
I like it.
I don't know, I would say kind of
harmless. Yeah.
But yeah, it's probably instilling a little bit of fear in your kids, but not like bad fear. I mean, like telling your kids not to lie is definitely a good thing. And I think that the best relationships I ever saw, like growing up with my friends, were my friends who didn't lie to their parents, which is like, it was eye opening because like I wouldn't lie to my parents about big things, but like maybe little white lies to like sneak around stuff or get away with things. But like I had mates who were like dead honest with their parents, and I always thought that was like a really, really cool thing, and their relationship was so good because of it. So maybe it teaches them not to lie, but that's a really clever one. I really like it. I'll probably
I'm putting it in the bank.
I'll probably use that one actually.
Clever.
We actually just asked for these because we were like, Fletcher's getting a bit old now, and we need a few ideas.
Yeah, we need to lie to our 8-month-old.
All right, our next one. It says, when my sister and I were kids, my parents would give us a sleeping pill before Christmas and birthdays, etc. As kids, we completely believed it, and we would go to sleep quickly thinking it was working. When we were older, we found out that it was just an Equal tablet that my dad put in his coffees. My dad came up with the idea because that's what my grandma did to him.
I love that.
That's cute,
I
hey?
love that placebo. Also really clever if your kid just can't sleep.
That's like going through the generations as well. That's a great idea.
That's a really good one.
I like that, but I also don't think you should overuse it. I like the birthdays and Christmases and, maybe Easters and those nights where kids get so excited about the next day. Or, if you're going to a theme park the next day, whatever it is. But yeah, there's plenty of nights where, we struggle as adults to switch off, and it's because your brain's ticking over about things. So I'm sure that kids do that. So yeah, really clever one. I like that one as well.
All right, the next one says, my parents used to say, you see how everyone has jobs? They have worked hard at school for these jobs and they work towards a goal. You know how you hear the voice in the lift saying, level 1. If you don't work hard at school, you will be stuck behind the wall of the lift telling everyone what level they're on. That's so funny.
See, that one, I'm like, okay, that's a little bit more like fear-mongering in your kid.
Hilarious, though.
But that is a funny one.
What if you're really passionate about elevator voices?
You got an answer for everything, don't you?
What if you want to do VOs for a living?
Yeah, I don't think many people's dream VOs is saying just level 1 to 20.
I reckon there's one kid somewhere going, that's mad, I'll do that.
Well, hate to tell him that's not really an option, is it? Well, you can do it, but you won't get stuck behind the wall.
That's hilarious. Would you say that to Fletcher?
Not that kind of one. These are probably parents that, value education and, knowledge is power and think that, education is going to get their kid places, which I'm sure it will, but there's probably a better way to go about it than saying if you're not smart, pretty much you're going to be locked behind a wall saying a few words.
Yeah.
That's pretty terrifying.
I was told to just do my best.
That's nice.
I didn't really do my best, though.
Are you doing all right now?
I did my mediums.
At school, are you talking about?
At school.
What could you have done better, you think?
I applied myself. It was on every report. Jadé has great potential if she just applied herself. I wasn't applying myself.
Yeah, I'm saying what could you have done better?
Applied myself.
Yeah, but that's such a blanket term.
Oh, studied?
There you go. That's studied what? What did you struggle with?
Oh, I just studied anything.
Oh, you didn't study anything through school
I
ever?
was a last minute gal through and through.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah, this one time I had a presentation and I did it the period before it was due. And then at the end of it, my teacher said to everyone, Jadé did a really great job, guys, and then used me as an example for how great the presentation was. And my whole friendship group knew that I had done it 5 minutes ago and they hated
that's
me.
the worst possible thing that could have happened, right? Because if you got scolded,
pure talent, baby.
If you got scolded and your teacher was like, "That was rubbish," like you really need to put in more effort, maybe you would have done it differently.
No, it affirmed me.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
I was mad. I can keep doing this.
That's probably the worst possible thing then.
No, it was great. It taught me that in life, actually, it doesn't matter if you do the assignment 6 weeks earlier because you're going to either do well or you're not.
Can we hold off on you instilling any of these lessons in our kid, please?
I think some of them are good.
I'd like it if you put in a bit of effort.
All right, next one.
As a kid, my mum used to tell me that beef was brown chicken, so I would eat all my dinner because I only wanted chicken. That's fair game.
That's hilarious.
That's fair game because when you've got a
Brown
kid that
chicken.
doesn't eat, it's so frustrating, and you can make them countless things, and they just don't want them. So I'm all for just fibbing about the food so they eat it.
Really?
Yeah. What? Who cares?
Well, then you go to school and you go, I've got brown chicken for lunch. And everyone goes, what the hell's brown chicken? And you feel like a moron because your friends found out that your mum's telling you that your chicken's brown, but actually it's beef.
No, I would just say, look, your friends don't know about the special brown chickens that we have
from
access
Turkey.
to. Yeah, the Turks invented this
It's
one.
turkey brown
Yeah, I wouldn't
chicken.
have an issue with that. And whatever, if your kid says that, you can have that conversation when he gets home. But I would say
I
that.
agree. I don't know that I'd do that.
Oh, so what? You just make chicken every meal ever?
Or maybe
your
I'd
kid.
go, we're going to do taste test of different kinds of chicken. Close your eyes,
Wait,
right?
So you would lie?
No, but that's just once, not ongoing lie.
Yeah.
And then
cool.
they taste the chicken and go, yummy, this one's really good. And then it goes, sucked in, it's beef. You like it. Eat it.
I thought we had all the parenting chats before having a kid, but it turns out we haven't. And if we did, perhaps this kid wouldn't be here yet.
So the next one says, my sister told her son that Mr. Whippy sells mashed potatoes so that he wouldn't be interested whenever he heard the music. He's 11 now and is still unaware. That's crazy. Imagine going to a friend's house and they hear the music and go, let's get ice cream. And then you go, you idiot, it's potato. And then they go, nah, it's ice cream, you idiot. And then you get ice cream. And then you find out your mum lied.
Thanks for playing that one out. I felt like I was there. That was beautiful.
Also, I really like mashed potatoes,
Honestly
so I
feel like
reckon
I was-
I'd be running up to the
See,
van
that
anyway.
one is a great one also because if you find something that your kid doesn't like, but that wouldn't work with Fletch because that guy's obsessed with mashed potatoes.
Yeah, he loves mashed potato.
But that is it's a clever one, and also I think that's pretty harmless as well because have you had Mr. Whippy ice cream?
Yeah.
I think it's horrible.
Yeah, but there's two different types of ice cream vans. There's the Mr. Whippy one, and then there's the other one that has like the paddle pops and stuff.
Awesome. So could we go back to the Mr. Whippy one?
Yeah. I like the other one.
Okay. Do you like
Obviously.
Mr. Whippy?
I'll eat anything, sweet treat.
Okay. Do you like it though?
Honestly, yeah.
Like I've had it. It's like it's not even
not the
ice cream.
best.
It's like whipped cream almost.
Yeah,
you know,
but-
it's not even like a Macca's soft serve.
But when
like
it's
a
dipped
gross.
in chocky, pretty good with the flake. I'd always pick that one.
Yeah, I think that our kid is going to
With the
have so
hazelnuts.
much ice cream in the house because
Yeah.
of you that he's not going to want Mr. Whippy. He'll just know that he could access the freezer at any point.
Yeah, well, if it's up to you, there'll be none left because you're eating everything. Fresh packet of Tim Tams gone in one day.
Oh my god, back to the pet peeves. I think that's a smart one, and I would consider using that one.
There's another Mr. Whippy related one that just kept coming through, which was that their parents told them that if the Mr. Whippy van was playing music, it meant he was out of ice cream.
That is, in my opinion, genius. That one came through like literally 50 times from people.
Isn't that
And I was like,
crazy?
that's so smart.
That's so sad, though, depriving your children of Mr. Whippy experience.
I couldn't believe that so many parents came up with that as well.
Really?
Like they didn't have Facebook groups back then. Like, how do we stop our kids wanting Mr. Whippy? It's
True, they
$8
never
for a bit of whipped
interacted or
cream.
spoke in person either.
No, but I'm saying so. Like when I read it the first time, I was like, that's really clever. I didn't think my parents didn't use that. They just said no to Mr. Whippy.
So did my parents,
just
but isn't
used the
that a
old
good
no
thing?
trick.
Don't you think every now and then you should learn that just no exists so you don't get everything you want in life?
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Absolutely.
But if you have some kid just constantly bugging you, then
No,
I
I'd just go,
can
no,
understand
you're not
just
getting
going,
ice
like,
cream.
Here, I don't want to be bugged anymore.
Here,
so
eat your brown chicken.
you hear the music, there's no ice cream. I thought that one was actually genius. I really liked it.
Yeah.
And I liked that so many people had it. That's smart.
All right.
All right. It says, a lie I was told was that the beeping sound in the car when you didn't put your seatbelt on meant that the police were being notified and they were going to come and arrest me. These are grouse.
That's clever.
I didn't have any of these from my parents, but
No.
if they told me that, I would have believed it when I
Yeah,
was a
100%.
kid. I just think those things are so harmless.
Were you
'cause
scared of the police as a kid?
I'm scared of the police now.
Looks like
No, I
the
don't
police
mean-
are coming.
I don't mean I'm fearful that they're going to do anything to me. I just mean
Oh,
like when
good,
I see a
'cause-
cop car, like if I'm driving the speed limit, obviously I don't have any drugs or weapons in the car. I think like, shit, do I have any drugs and weapons in the car? Like if they pull me over, like is something going to happen here? Like I'm always just weary of the police, even though I'm the most law-abiding citizen ever.
I just double check. My hands are on 10 and 2.
And that's all they look for.
I'm like, can I drive with one hand off the wheel? Is that legal?
Just reminded me. No, it's something that I find so crazy.
What?
Right? When I worked in the city, I would drive home at 3, 4 a.m. every morning over the bridge, and I would say once a weekend, like minimum, there was like an RBT on the bridge. Obviously, catching people trying to drive home after drinking. I'm all for RBTs. 2 things here, actually. That's just reminding me again. I used to hate seeing people online who would warn people about RBTs.
Oh, yeah,
They'd go
agree.
like, "Oh, guys, there's an RBT on this road.
There were
this
Facebook
time."
groups,
And I'd be like, "Why do you want people to get away with drink driving? Like, as in, that's the worst possible thing you could do. You know, like it's horrible.
It's so weird.
That's the first qualm. Secondly, I used to always get pulled over for RBT, and often I'd actually know the police officers because they'd be in the city doing checks and stuff. But sometimes when I'd get pulled over by a cop I didn't know, they would breathalyze me, but they would never ask for your license.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was so weird that
is.
they're checking to see if you drink driving, but they're not even checking to see if you have a license to drive in the first place.
Yeah.
And I just thought, like, isn't that the first thing you would do if someone was driving a car? You go, could I see your license, please? But I reckon more than 10, 15 times I've been breathalyzed, never asked for my license.
They want to catch you, but not really.
Yeah, it's really, really strange.
They're like, we'll catch you for this. We don't care about the other
Because
stuff.
I think there's someone that you told me about in your life that has driven without a license for a long time. So imagine this person keeps getting pulled over for breathalyzers and they don't ask for the license.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what happens.
Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know why that got brought up in my mind, but yeah.
You done, or do you have any other light bulb moments?
No, that's light bulb. This light bulb's turned out. So next one.
All right, the next one says, my dad told me not to go near the pool's filtration system because a little girl once sat on it.
Filtration, not filtration.
Thank you so much. My dad told me not to go near the pool's filtration system because a little girl once sat on it and had her gut sucked out through her butt. I never went near it and realised when I was older that he just didn't want me messing with it. That would terrify me.
That's what it's meant to do.
No,
Fair
but that
game.
would scare me beyond being even near the pool, I reckon. Because you know what I hated? Those little squidgy things under the pool cleaners that went that clean the pool. I was scared of those.
What? Like why?
Thought it would eat me or something.
Just another irrational fear of yours.
Come in and you're scared of police. What do you think? They're going to come and go, you're in trouble.
No, I think with the pool thing, I think that's fair game because if you have something that's super expensive and you've got a kid, like think about what Fletch does already. Like he goes and fiddles with everything and plays with everything. Anything he can touch, pool, like he doesn't care. So if you've got a kid that's going to muck around with like an expensive pool filtration system, it's going to stuff it up. And
sucked out through her butt is so graphic to tell a child about a pool cleaner.
Okay. How much money
Yuck.
is it every time you need to fix the filtration system that's a warranted
Just say
lie?
don't go near it, you'll get hurt. How about that?
Genius. That's never stopped a kid. Kids really care about getting hurt. They have no fear.
I wouldn't go near it. I was already scared of it. Didn't even know what it was.
So if your mum said to you, hey, Jad, don't go near the ice cream in the freezer, you'll get hurt, would you go, oh, yeah, no worries?
Probably.
That's a lie.
If she said it had teeth or something.
You would have risked it.
I don't like getting hurt.
Yeah, I think if you're saving your kids, or I guess you're saving yourself and your partner from an expensive bill, I think that's fair to lie
Can you
about.
not tell our children that different inanimate objects are going to eat them?
It's not going to eat him. It's going to suck his guts out his butt.
Sounds a lot like eating someone.
No, that's fair game.
Okay.
If it's going to cost me $5,000 to fix the filtration system, I'm going to tell Fletch, careful, it's going to butt suck you.
So you're telling me that Fletcher's lifelong trauma is only worth $5,000?
No one said he's getting lifelong trauma.
You just put a price on trauma.
No one said he's getting trauma.
I'm telling you.
You're
if he's
scared.
related to me, he's getting the trauma.
Yeah, true. That's actually risky. You have a lot of irrational fears.
That's so right. Next.
So when I was little, my dad and neighbour used to tell me and my siblings that if we didn't eat our vegetables, our legs would fall off. Our neighbour of many years, who became a close friend of the family, was in a wheelchair as a quadriplegic. He was a man of great wit and spirit. So naturally, this white lie was actually his idea. He would say, yep, that's exactly how I lost my legs, kids. So you better eat up your veggies or your legs will fall off like mine. Scared shitless, myself and my 3 other siblings ate every single veggie every single night. Safe to say it's stuck in our heads and we all still eat all our veggies first from the plate.
So evil.
That is grouse.
What's with parents and veggies?
What do you mean?
Well, like if Fletcher doesn't like zucchini, I'm not going to shove it down his throat.
Yeah, but they also like.
Like, do you eat every veggie off your plate? Mate,
but if
half your meals have zero nutrients in them.
It's the point that if you gave kids a choice,
Yeah.
they would always choose the tastiest thing. They're not going to choose the things that are good for them that they need.
I think that's really funny.
That's a great one, and to have the neighbor in on it and his idea means like it wasn't like the parents were using him as a little scapegoat.
It's elaborate.
It was his idea, which is cute, and obviously it's a nice memory for the kids now. So yeah, I think that's
It's a nice memory.
I think that's fair game. And look, it set them up with you said that the pool thing would give him trauma, but this has set them up with good habits for life. They say they eat their veggies first still to this day.
Yeah, and that girl never goes near the filtration system. She
Exactly.
refuses to have a pool in her yard because she's traumatized.
No trauma. She's just responsible.
All right, our next lie says, when I was little, my father always told me to stop squinting or crossing my eyes. He told me if I suddenly get frightened, it'll stay like that forever. And also something that may be typical for Germany is the lie you'll get square eyes if you watch TV for too long. That's like if the wind blows, right?
Yeah, it's obviously like
We've all heard that one.
Their rendition of it. But I actually had the TV one. That's one that my parents did for
really?
me. Yeah. They'd say if you sit too close to the TV, your eyes will go square. Not if you watch too long. Because sometimes you'd go up to the screen and,
What's square eyes?
like your eyes would turn square. Like literally from circles to squares.
I've never heard that.
Yeah. My parents said that. If you sat too close to the TV,
Your eyes would turn into squares.
eyes would
That
turn
is
square.
so funny. I've literally never heard that.
Yeah, crazy that one, obviously the Germans are coming up with the same ones. Or maybe my dad's Polish, the Germans, who knows? But
They should be telling that to iPad kids.
I've definitely heard that when the wind changes, your face will stay. If you
yes,
make like
a silly face.
Your kids who stick their tongues out, or their parents trying, they say if the wind changes, your face will stay like that.
That's very similar.
That's their own rendition of that one. But TV for too long. I mean, just you're the parent, right? Just turn the TV off. Don't have to lie to your kid about it. All right. I don't know, this is so minor, but growing up on a farm, I would always go fishing with my dad, and he told me that I wasn't allowed to speak because it would scare the fishes away. I turned 25 and found out through a work fishing event that fish cannot hear you, and fishing is a social hobby, so you can talk. It was just my dad's way of telling me I talk too much.
My dad told me the same. He told me and my sister that you can't talk loudly because the fish will swim away.
If he was doing it for the same reason as this girl,
that's crazy.
That makes sense.
I didn't know. No, I'm just finding this out now. This is crazy for me. This is live on air. Jadé's finding out.
Wait, you actually...
We'd go fishing with Dad and he'd go, you can't talk too loudly because you'll scare the fish.
Poor guy just wanted some peace and quiet.
I thought that was real. I thought fish heard things.
Yeah, you and this girl both. She learned at 25, you learn at 30. That's, whatever. You don't go fishing though. When was the last time you went fishing?
When I was with my dad as a kid.
Huh. Yeah, this one I feel like could hurt your kids' feeling.
Yeah, I'm hurt now.
When they find out, at 25 that you just didn't want to talk to them. Because I thought the whole point of doing activities with your kid was to like bond and
no, we
hang out
talk quietly.
And spend time.
We just wouldn't yell and stuff. Your kid's outside by the water. You're probably running around. It's probably also to help you just chill out.
Sure. This chick said that it was no talking though. So her dad wanted to take her out, do an activity and just have a little bit of me time.
That's like playing sleeping lines with kids because you just want a bit of peace and quiet.
What's that?
You just pretend to sleep as a kid. You can't move.
No, I didn't play that game. What was it?
You just pretend to be asleep.
Like that's the whole game?
I think so.
Like, hey guys, we're going to do this fun thing.
Yeah, if you move, you're out.
How do you know if your eyes are closed and you're asleep? Who moved?
Well, just you get pulled out of the sleeping den. The parent goes up, out, and then you sit in a corner.
Grim party that you went to.
We used to play at preschool.
That sounds horrible.
Well, no, because it's clever, because the teachers get a moment of respite.
Did you guys ever think about Tip or 44 Home or anything like that?
Yeah, we played those, but, we also like sleeping lines. Look, anyway, it's not important.
I love it. All right, next one.
When we were very little, Mum and Dad would point to a waiter, host or bartender, someone who walked around a lot but might not interact with us much, and say that was the naughty man, and that he took the kids who were being naughty at dinner out the back to do jobs like wash dishes and mop the kitchen floor. My parents always had people compliment them on how well behaved their 3 tiny kids were. It was because we were terrified.
I get it. We've taken Fletch out to dinner once.
Fletcher's a baby.
Yeah, but I get
baby.
it. Like if recently when we did it, you're in this environment where you're super conscious that there's other people there that are like paying for dinner to have a nice night, nice experience. So like you don't want your kid, making too much noise, being too silly, whacking things on a table.
Being
because,
a kid, basically.
Yeah, you don't want, but it's like, it's selfish for you to think that, your kid is the world when there's other 50 people paying for a nice experience, So like, I can understand that if you want to go out to dinner with your kids and you want them to, be respectful, like if they were acting up all the time, I can see using this as like a clever tool if you didn't want to, put a screen in front of their eyes and sort of numb them in that way. So
yeah. Also, it's like just chores. It's not like, you're being tortured out the back. It's like you're just going to go wash some dishes.
Yeah, if you want to act up and you don't get to enjoy dinner with the family, you got to go out the back and do jobs. So yeah, I get it, and I kind of like it. And after
I don't hate it.
After experiencing dinner with Fletch
a baby,
for the first time
a baby
recently,
that can't hear or understand anything that you're saying.
Yeah, but it was.
Give him a break.
I didn't enjoy that experience, if I'm being completely honest, because I
know.
was too on edge about other people's experience, Yeah,
and the table next to us had a baby, and the people on the other side were smiling at Fletcher the whole time. You could have definitely chilled out a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know why. It had me on edge that one. So I get using this one, and I might use it myself.
All right, last one.
All right, it says, I wanted to do little athletics as a kid. Mum was sick of taking us to so many activities, so she told me that it was actually by invitation only. And being a terribly slow runner, I believed her. I only found out that this wasn't the case when I turned to my husband recently and said, I wonder if our kids will be good enough for little athletics.
Oh, bless. That's so sad. You thought you were just a slow runner and you weren't invited into little athletics.
Oh, that's
so
a
sad.
hard way to tell your kid that they can't do
but
something.
also, like, as a parent, if you've got multiple kids doing all these things cost a lot of money, Like, soccer rego costs a lot of money,
It comes back to logistics as well. How are you going to drive multiple kids to multiple
things?
Then
you've got your boots that you need to buy. I'm sure with little athletics, you've got to wear your leotard and this and that. So all these things cost heaps of money.
Leotard? It's not.
Sorry.
Bro, it's not.
Sorry, I'm thinking of gymnastics. Sorry, I clearly wasn't involved in little athletics. I was thinking of gymnastics. But yeah, you've got to spend money and stuff. So I sort of get it.
Yeah, I mean, it also kind of instills in your kid that they're shit at stuff.
No,
no,
it doesn't.
It's not very encouraging.
No, because she said that I was a slow runner. She didn't say that her mum said she was a slow runner.
Yeah, but she was saying, like, because her mum said it was invitation only, she realised that I'm not good enough to do this thing, so I wouldn't have tried. You know what I mean? So perhaps if you said, like, let's do some running.
Full.
Let's do some running at the park just when we go together, and then maybe we can do little athletics in the future.
I get what you're saying.
Like, it's like, it might be a bit of a dampener on your,
them up.
Yeah, on your kid. But
sure.
I also get when you have, what we were talking about earlier, if you have 2, 3, 4, 5 kids and you're trying to navigate all their extracurriculars and stuff, then a few white lies might come out here and there too or something. You know what thinking of that, extracurriculars as a kid? So many light bulb moments now.
That's crazy.
I don't know if I want Fletch playing cricket.
No, I don't. Sorry.
That
too
is
long.
Far too long. Quite a boring sport.
That's the whole weekend.
In my humble opinion.
Yeah, look, sorry, cricket lovers, but I'm on the same page. We're going to have to tell Fletcher that cricket's invitation only. And
we could do that. But like, think about it, right? It's like a 4-hour adventure. I think cricket, like kids cricket,
adventure
like 2 hours.
Is a strong word.
2 hours each team batting and fielding. What happens if your kid goes and like he's batting for the 2 hours and he goes in first and gets out first ball? And
I don't even know how cricket works.
Now
Couldn't
and just,
tell you.
Is
that how it works?
Yeah, it would be torture.
Like you're just out and then that's it.
I did cricket when I was young for like 1 or 2 seasons just because my friends did and I was excited. And my mum, when I said like, I don't want to do this anymore, Mum, she was like, thank God, because that was rubbish. And I was like, sorry, you had to deal with that.
Yeah, no cricket.
Yeah, looking forward, unless Fletch is like going to be Ricky Ponting or something.
So glad we had that revelation on the pod. All right.
Well, yeah.
Thanks for sending in your lies, guys. You've given us a lot of ideas.
Yeah, you have given us a lot of ideas. Hey team, it's Jad and Lach here to give you the lowdown on a podcast you should add to your playlist.
Brooke Blurton and Maddie Mills host the First Things First podcast, and in it they share their personal yarns through a First Nations lens.
It's a raw, honest and unfiltered look into the lives of both Brooke and Maddie.
Search for First Things First wherever you get your podcasts.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, Reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Blair Athol or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
Guys, now we end all our episodes every week with our segment called Ask Mum and Dad, whereby we act as your internet parents. And if you had any issues in your life, questions, qualms about work, relationships, family, you can write in and we will attempt to help you with them. So you can do that by writing into us at madaboutyou@novapodcast.com.au or DMing me. Now, this week's one is a bit of a long one, so strap in, get your popcorn ready, but it's a bit of a dilemma. So it says, my boyfriend and I have been dating for almost 3 years. I only really get to see my friends every couple of weeks because we all have different schedules. I don't go out that often, but sometimes clubbing is the only option for seeing my friends. Yes, they're all single. I always ask my boyfriend if he's okay with me going out once in a while, and I know he doesn't like it, and I can understand why. However, it's really hard to explain to him that the only reason why I feel like going out is just simply to see my friends, and that's all, not to seek male attention, etc., because I'm so in love with him. I also recently got asked by my friends if I would come to a housewarming party for one of their guy friends, to which I responded, sounds good, but can my boyfriend come? To which they said, of course. I then told my boyfriend, and before I even got to explain, he responded, no, you're not going. And then I explained he can also come, but then he said that he works early on Saturday, so he probably won't want to come on Friday night and doesn't appreciate that I want to go to a guy's house regardless of what he says, and that I wouldn't like it if the roles were reversed, which I won't deny is true. However, I can't help but feel frustrated because, like I said, I don't get to see my friends all at once that often because they're busy, and I usually always plan something that takes him into consideration. However, sometimes things like this come up and I don't want to say no to hanging out with all my friends. Do you guys have any advice for me? How do I go about this?
It's giving trust issues on either end. It's giving trust issues on either end, guys. What is going on here?
Yeah, I feel like if you're worried about your partner going out, there's a deeper conversation, because if you're in like a trusting, loving relationship, like it shouldn't matter if your friend's around all the temptation in the world. Like it just simply shouldn't matter, you know? So your friend going out to a club where, there are single people and single people are often looking for other single people. But if your missus isn't single and you trust her, you really shouldn't worry about it.
Also, just because there's a single person in the vicinity doesn't mean you're sucking their face off.
Yeah,
Like, what?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're automatically like you guys must now hold hands. What is going on?
And it also means, like, let's say your missus goes out and someone thinks she's attractive and hits on her or cracks onto it. It doesn't mean that she's going to leave you for them or
means
go
you got
home
a hot
with
missus.
them. It means like good on you, and hopefully you got a missus that will turn down that advance, you know? So I think that perhaps you guys need to have a little deeper conversation about trust. And the thing is, it seems like it's a bit of perhaps a perpetual thing, considering that you said that you also wouldn't trust him in a similar scenario.
And maybe he knows that. So maybe he knows that he has the ability to say no because he knows you'd do the same. So it sounds like you're both kind of feeding into this same situation where you're both not trusting one another for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe it was a past relationship or something that's kind of affected you now. But yeah, Locke used to work on the door at a nightclub. It was his job to literally like let people into a club and meet hundreds of women every night. And I would go out pretty much every weekend and be out myself.
Stand 100 metres away with binoculars and watch.
And that too, you know, occasionally make sure I was doing the right thing. No, you simply need to trust your partner. They are always going to be scenarios where they're out and about without you, and you need to just trust that they're going to do the right thing. And if you don't, maybe that is a deeper conversation you both need to have. Yeah,
and also I think if you start treating your partner like that and not allowing them to do the simple things in life, like hanging out with their friends, that soon that will turn into like some form of resentment. And it also will extend into other areas of, you know, your life. So let's say you get offered a work opportunity overseas where you need to go for a week to Vegas with your work, which I just had friends do. They literally went for a week to Vegas with their work. Like, was your partner going to say you can't go and experience that because he doesn't trust you?
And male colleagues.
Yeah, you know, so I feel like it is a deeper thing. And perhaps, you know, as Jad said, maybe something's happened in a past relationship and you guys aren't, you know, trustworthy people. But until your partner sort of breaks your trust, I guess you sort of have to give them the benefit of the doubt. And I think it's worth having a little chat with your friend and saying that, you know, as much as you said you love him to bits, you also really don't want to lose your connection and time with your friends. And, you know, if clubbing's the only way you get to see each other, then
he needs to get over it.
I guess so be it. That's all we've got for you, unfortunately. So
all No, that was fortunate. That was good advice.
I'd also, sometimes I think people hear the advice, they take it, but I want them to write back and go like, hey, it worked or it didn't work. So
You should follow up
if
with
you're
them.
ever, no, I don't want to follow up because that's like weird, you know? Like,
So true.
hey, how did things go with Steve? Did you tell him stuff? Yeah, I'm going out clubbing. You know, it's weird. So
Sick, man.
if you did want to write in, if we use one of your Ask Mum and Dads, your questions, and you ever want to check back in with us and update us, we'll update everyone.
Yeah.
So, that's all we got from you this week, guys.
Okay, love you.
We love having you with us. We appreciate it more than you know, and it means a lot every time you check in. It would also mean a lot if you guys who listen every week would leave us a nice review.
Subscribe. That helps us a lot. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, follow the pod, give us a review, and we will see you next week for some more TSing.
What?
Talking shit.
Oh, that was mad. Yeah, say that every time we... Okay. See ya.
TSing was just nice, and then you guys made me swear.
You just sound like you went, see for some more. See us.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Hey team, it's Jad and Locke here to give you the lowdown on a podcast you should add to your playlist.
Brooke Blurton and Maddie Mills host the First Things First podcast, and in it they share their personal yarns through a First Nations lens.
It's a raw, honest and unfiltered look into the lives of both Brooke and Maddie.
Search for First Things First wherever you get your podcasts.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Blair Athol or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.